Julie is still here with us.
Yes. And is that black or is it dark green?
Dark green. It's dark green. I never wear high necks, but I quite like it.
It's lovely.
No, I never wear high necks either.
I know, isn't it funny?
Really suits you.
No, you know why? I always feel if I've got a high neck on, it sort of cuts my body off from my head.
That's kind of a polo neck jumper. I never liked those ever, but this is But
I quite like polo necks.
Do you?
Yeah, it's a little bit man-sparkle.
She's very nicely dressed. Is very distinguished. I think she always looks sort of neat.
Sorry, I didn't catch who you were talking about.
Natalie.
I was neat.
Oh,
yes,
but that's a real compliment. You always look, you always look well put together. Everything seems to look
very well groomed. The scarf is like royal.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
talking about royalty, what has happened to Princess Kate? And why do the press keep calling her Kate Middleton?
I don't know. I would say leave them alone.
It's weird that they had that picture for Mother's Day that was printed, and it was apparently Prince William took it. It's her of the kids, and then after about an hour or so, it was withdrawn by the press committee or whoever they are to say that it was tampered with. It was an AI or whatever it was. It was photoshopped. And so because there've been all these internet rumors, it's weird that suddenly this picture of her on Mother's Day and then it's taken down.
Yeah, the whole thing is very strange. But mind you,
sorry, Carrie.
Debbie, Dee and Nat, we did have to Photoshop quite a lot of our pictures when we went on our cruise, didn't we?
Yes, but we are not the royal family.
Oh, no.
No,
maybe she's not well, Deb. Maybe she's not well after her op. Maybe she's had a bit of a downturn and she just doesn't want to be in the public eye at all.
That's all you need to say is that she doesn't. But it's just the fact that they released a picture that was photoshopped. I mean, are they crazy? Why didn't they just leave it?
But the thing is, I think everyone photoshops their pictures now, don't they?
No, but it's not just like her face looks different. They're saying that she's really there. It wasn't her hands, it was somebody else's body and her face. And
oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There was, if it was just Photoshop so she looked a bit better, that would be one thing.
Yeah.
But this is a lot different.
Did you see the picture?
Yeah, it's still up there, because it was out, because it's the internet, you can't take it. But what they've done is the press commission, whoever they are, took it down from a lot of their publications.
And how does she look in it? How does she look? Does she look unwell?
No, she looks fine, but they're saying that it's not her, that it is her, but it wasn't her. They put a face on it. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. Nothing to do with me, but I feel sorry for her. I mean, I feel sorry for them. It's just
it must be really hard being a royal, mustn't it? Because they're under scrutiny all the time, and they're always being attacked or criticised or scrutinised or And I think she's such a lovely. I mean, I don't know her at all, but I know people who do know, as we do, don't we, Debbie?
Yeah.
And Nat, and probably Julie as well, but I just feel that she's such a lovely, lovely person. It's such a shame people have a go at her.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on. Debbie.
Moving on.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, we don't have Princess Kate. That would have been a bit of a coup.
Darn it.
Yeah, that's who you thought it was, didn't you? Yes. The press can't find her, but we have her here on Zoom. Actually, we have someone, words really can't describe her. It is the wonderful Rosemary. Hello, Rose. Are you there? Hello, darling.
Hello there, girls. A special big loving hello to my dear friend Debbie Arnold. She shouldn't be allowed out, only back to apologise.
Yeah. Rose, it's so gorgeous to see you. We have had some fun together. And the girls were saying to me, what should we? I said, we don't need to think about asking Rose anything. She'll tell us everything. She's quiet and retiring and sweet.
Very shy and retiring.
Yeah.
Yes. Go on then. Oh, Rose, tell us what you've been up to.
I just want everybody to know that I'm Jimmy Cricket's love child. Just in case you don't know. Can
Oh,
you
I knew
tell the
that.
resemblance?
Yes.
Mm.
I do actually have a question for Rose. Can I ask you a question, Rose?
Rosemary. I like the
Rosemary.
full title with a hyphen.
Okay, no. Rosemary, full title with a hyphen.
Yes.
Why are your wonderful legs insured by Lloyd's? How did that come about?
Well, well, now you're asking the question.
I
Well,
am.
they were insured for 100 grand. This was a few years ago. I still wear short skirts to this day. I can't help myself. And, you know, and they said, you can't ride a bicycle, ride a donkey, ride a horse, do any of those things. I've never been able to do them anyway, you know. And because I got insured because by a tights firm, I was always showing my legs and you know, in different photo shoots and everything. And that came about. So my manager at the time, Tony Cartwright, who looked after Joe Longthorne and several big names. And, you know, so that's where it came about. And of course, I'm still photographed this day for my legs. Not my face, just my legs.
I love it that you're still wearing short skirts as well.
Yes.
It's the old
What do you
gag,
mean?
isn't it?
What do you mean still?
Exactly.
But I got to give you a laugh. My dear friend Bobby Ball, I was at a ball recently, Bobby Ball's ball for his foundation. That's what it was called. And I've known him for donkeys of years. And I walked in and I was papped, and I haven't worn a long frock in years. So I tried to get my PA, Janice, who's here. She says, breathe in. I am breathing in. And I don't know what's gone on with how your whole figure changes, you know, and I, you know, because I haven't put weight on. It's just that everything changes. Us girls don't know all that. So anyway, I decided to pick one frock out, and I walk in and I'm being papped, and somebody stood on the train of my frock. I thought it was only a wee small, and he didn't even say sorry. And I'm posing here and posing there, and nobody told me. I thought it was only a wee small hole at the back of my frock. I didn't know till I got home. It was a massive big hole. And I thought, that's it. Charity shops. I give away all my frocks. And honest to God, I had no confidence. And we had to get up and do the theme tune to Cannonball. Da, 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 da. And, you know, and I thought, well, Bobby would have loved it. He would have laughed his leg off. You know, but what can you do? But I just don't like, I always wear short skirts. Sparkly, denim, doesn't matter. And I don't care how old one is. You don't. It's not got to do with age, but thank God I have slim legs, so I'm lucky.
Julie Peasgood and I have been best friends for many years, and we have a great problem. Is that usually I'm wearing something that she hasn't seen before, and she tries to steal it from. No, she's not. Do you steal it or you just take it? She always goes,
Is this
I know
true?
I buy it.
Because
No, she
I've
wouldn't
had nothing
buy
but
it.
all year. All I hear is Julie Peasgood just helps herself to all my wardrobe. Is this true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She doesn't steal. What she does is she says, "I'll have it, and you can buy yourself. And I'll buy you another one." But she wants mine.
It's making me sound awful, Rosemary. It's you know, I do return it with gifts for Debs, but yeah, I have been known to steal Debbie's clothes.
Julie, I understand, dear.
Yeah, and what is so wonderful, sometimes we do have the same clothes, and we do turn up wearing the same things.
We have done that on a few occasions. I like it.
You know, do you not think, girls, that it's a term of endearment? You know, I mean, it's not like, oh, you're looking better. I mean, Sally Farmlow's always looked like a Barbie girl, you know, figure, and I was bigger busted than her. But we wore the same frock, and we got noticed, and we did it together. And I think more girls should do that.
Well, I think we should all go out wearing the same
Doesn't
clothes.
matter what shape you are.
Yeah.
Talking of
Rosemary,
shapes.
what are you doing at the moment? Apart from
What am
jumping
I-
up and down, because you're still wobbling.
Oh, am I? Oh, sorry. it's a small camera, you know. I'm used to several cameras, you know, girls. You know, I'm a bit of a shy, shrinking violet, as you know.
Yeah.
So yes, I've been recording with my duets with my dear friend Trisha Penrose, and she was on Mastermind the other night.
Oh, wow.
And if you watched Heartbeat, she was on. I've known her for hundreds of years. And so we've been doing, I know him so well. You remember that Barbara
Yeah.
Oh,
Dixon
yes.
and Elaine Page? So we've done that. We've done the other duets. And then I've got the North Pier, the Joe Longthorne studio, which is on the North Pier. And, you know, my dear friend, everybody, I've moved up to Blackpool.
Well,
And
have
I'm
you?
missing,
Ooh.
yes, I have a year year next month. And I'm missing all my pals like Les Dawson, Frank Carson, you know, Bobby Ball, all my dear friends, all the big names that I learnt from in my career, and they've all gone now. And it's quite sad. And, you know, I just I miss them very. All the big names, honest to God, are gone. I'm not feeling that good myself at the moment.
You're looking
You
gorgeous.
get that, girl, don't you?
Do look good. And
Debbie
where,
gets that
why?
one.
So, Rosemary, why Blackpool? I love Blackpool, mind you.
There you because this is where my career started with a beautiful agent called Norman Teal, a good Yorkshire man. And he said, if you move from London, I'll make sure that you get plenty of work. I can't say I'll make you a star, but I'll get you plenty of work. Then I left him and went down to London because the music business was bigger in London, and 17, 18 millions of albums. Later, I got my success, and they're all in the garage, my records.
Oh,
Keep laughing, Debbie. I've got a very weak finish. But I love Blackpool because the fresh air, and you know, and I live opposite the Irish Sea. I wave to me mommy every morning, and you know, everybody's very down to earth here, and
Yeah.
as very similar to the Irish and the Scottish, you know, and it's just lovely. And so now I've decided I'm staying put.
Do you live in Blackpool, Rosemary, or just outside like Lytham, St Anne's or anything?
Just slightly. I don't have enough money to live where Les Dawson and Roy Walker lives, you know, in Lytham, St Anne's. No, I live near Bispam. It's
Lovely.
like 5 minutes on the tram.
Right.
No strikes. I was in London yesterday, and all the tube strikes was kicking in. And in the end, I had to get a train to Euston. But here in Blackpool, the trams are going every 12 minutes. And you just hop on, or you just walk into town, which takes me 10 minutes because I'm a power walker. But you know, there's no strikes like that. And I used to love living in London, but not anymore. Actually, I love the Blackpool way of life. Lancashire people are the kindliest. Well, London people are, and I've got vertigo. So when I'm going up or down escalators, I say, "Excuse me, man or woman, it doesn't matter. Say, could I hold on to you going up? How many more escalators is there?" And so one time I held on to this man. Sometimes it's a woman. I don't care. It doesn't matter what race or color or anything. I just hang on to anybody because of my vertigo. And when I see escalators, I die a death. But this man, he was so lovely. Could I just hold on to you, please? I've got vertigo. And so we get 2 escalators later. He says to me, "Well, you chose the right person," he says, because I says, "Gives me a heart attack," I says, "going up these escalators and my head goes spinning around and the whole lot." He says, "Well, you chose the right person. I'm a heart surgeon." That's no word of a lie. And he was absolutely a wee Indian man he was. You know, you'd never put, you know, just goes to show. And people say that in London that people are not friendly. I disagree.
But
You know.
everyone talks to you, darling.
Yes. It's a good way to meet people as well. They're hanging on an escalator. That's a really good chat-up line, Rosemary. I like
Yeah,
it.
I was going to say.
If it was a chat line, I'd be married by now. Julie, I've used it loads of times, but I have found that people in general are kindly. You know, people can say, oh, once you come down to London, northern people are friendlier. I just think people in general are kindly.
Yeah,
And I really mean that.
That's
You
so
know,
nice.
I just have to pick on the right one. They might think I'm going to steal something out of their pockets and I'm holding on to the death grip. You
But with
know.
the vertigo, is that actually what happens? That you start to spin, and what
Yes.
actually happens to you?
People think you're drunk. And I mean, seriously, and your whole balance. And I read magazines when I'm on the train, and I haven't spoke to Denise about this, but I didn't know she suffered from it, Denise Welsh, and 15 years. And I think it was the death of my sister that triggered, I've never liked heights, but I think the death of I was about to do a musical, the Eva Cassidy musical, and I got a phone call from my cousin to say that my sister had died and I better get home. And thankfully they give me time off. And I was never the same since. The shock.
Yeah, the shock.
So, they don't know, there's no treatment for it. I was put on pills for it.
Can I say something? It sounds like you've got something called BPV, which is benign positional vertigo. Okay, if it happens when you're getting up, I've had this off and on, and I know Dee suffered spells of.
Say, yeah.
Do you know what really helped me? I was trying loads of different pills, nothing worked. It was a real problem, especially getting up suddenly, or
Yes.
lying down suddenly, or looking up. I was like, whoa.
Or turning round in bed.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what really helped? Stugeron, and Debbie Arnold was
Yep.
Dr. Arnold. She said, I was trying all these different things, and she said, why don't you try Stugeron? And it never occurred to me to do it because it's over the counter and it's nothing grand. It worked brilliantly.
What is that,
Yeah,
Julie?
yeah.
It's for travel sickness.
Mhm. I use
And
it for sickness.
And
Makes
the
you
only reason
sleepy.
I know that it works is because just after Talia was born, my David, my ex-husband, David Jansen, who I know you know, David couldn't get out of bed. I thought, bloody typical. I've just had a baby and he can't get out of bed. That was anyway, he kept falling over. And we had, Kira was, my other daughter had glue ear. And so we got very, very friendly with the guy who was her surgeon, an ENT surgeon. So I actually rang him and said, this happened today because I know what this is. He said, go out and get him some Sturgeon. And I said, what's that? He said, if that doesn't work, then I'll come and see him. But this should work. And he said, they're seasickness tablets. I said, really? He said, just get them. Well, 2 of those and it was fine.
I have to tell you that my granddaughter was diagnosed with leukemia first time 6 years ago. And like you said about your sister, it was such a shock. About a week later, I was in my house and I suddenly thought I was having a stroke. And the whole room started spinning. And I dialed 911. And they did all these things about putting your hands above your head. And they said, we think you've got inner ear problem.
Well, it's connected.
Yeah. And it was just the most terrible. And I felt sick. And it was exactly the same. And I do actually suffer from vertigo. I don't like heights at all. But I ran out into the road because I thought, if I'm going to die, I don't want to die in the house so nobody finds me today or weeks. So I ran out into the middle of the road because I was so scared. The next day, I met somebody else who said exactly the same thing happened to her.
When I'm with my sister Annie, she laughs and she says, we'll cross now. I says, but I need to look left and right again and all that there. And she says, they're not going to knock down 2 of us. This is what she says. And it doesn't matter who I'm crossing the road with. I have to link on. Very, very nervous. But I'm wondering if shock has brought it on because, and thankfully the people doing the Eva Cassidy musical with me, they let me stay for the funeral, but I never was the same after that. It's shock. And there's no medical reason or no medical cure for anything.
Rosemary, what are you doing next, darling?
I've got 2 concerts in Blackpool. And then I'm doing a documentary at the moment, and it's the second documentary. The first one was Star Trek's, and Bobby Ball and Frank Carson are on that. So this is one now, the second follow-up, different company, and doing that and getting ready for the summer, you know, gigs here, there and everywhere, but a lot of the filming takes up my time. And
well, listen, we must see you when you come to London. I must see you because we've had a lot of fun together.
we have indeed. Don't tell anybody.
I won't. I won't. I'm not saying anything. Love you, darling. You have big
Stays in London,
Big
keeps in
hugs.
London.
Yeah. See you soon, darling.
Darling.
Girls, thank you very much for all your warmth. And
I love you. Bye,
God bless.
darling.
Bye, dear.
Bye.
She is such a character.
Isn't she? You did say that, didn't you? And
I did.
she did not disappoint.
As people don't in our lives, do they?
No, exactly.
Nobody disappoints.
Oh, thank you for asking me again, girls. I love
We
this.
do love you.
We
so
love you.
so
We
much.
do love you. Will you come back again, darling?
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Right,
and
next week.
Jules, you know, hopefully, because now we've all been sailing, haven't we? We are sailing.
Yes,
And you're going to be off
We are.
sailing again soon, aren't you?
I'm going to be on my 96th cruise in a minute. Yeah,
Ooh,
to Iceland.
96.
And
But all work nuts, or as a speaker, an actor, a presenter.
Oh my God.
Viewer.
Do you ever get over this, swaying feeling, or are you always?
No, I mean, the last one, and now I do Supercraft Cruises, which is my company, which I take on board different ships making crafts. And funnily enough, when we're crafting and it's really rocky, you'd think you'd get sick. You don't. But I still have it. And I'd be fascinated to know if you do. When I get back on dry land, even up to 3 or 4 days later, sometimes it's like, oh, just like rocking. Have you had that?
I know that,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have to tell you this, but I took Julie's cruising virginity.
She did. The first one. Debbie asked me if I'd like to go on a cruise, soap cruise that she arranged, and I went on to talk about Brookside, and I was 40, and I remember thinking, I'm far too young for the cruises. I won't like it. We loved it. It was literally as we walked up on board. It was love at first sight, really. Yeah. No, thank you, Debbie. Thank you.
No, but it's so funny because that changed your life.
It did.
With your craft, what kind of things do you make, Julie, or is it a secret?
No, it's not a secret at all. I've been making, in fact, hold on, bear with you just 1 sec. Oh, thank you, ladies. Right, so Natalie, you asked what I've been making. This is a floating fish,
Wow.
driftwood and soda cans, or we call them bowls, ornamental bowls. These are made, believe it or not, from scrim. That's when we break our legs, which I hope we don't. We put scrim on, and that's what the bowls are made from. And finally, I've been doing these all weekend with my granddaughters. Mosaic hearts. They are.
You made me one.
I made you one, didn't I? And if you make any china, it doesn't matter because you just put it on a mosaic. Da, 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 da.
Oh, how
That's what I'm doing.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.